He tasks me, and I shall have him. I'll chase him round the moons of Nibia and round the Antares maelstrom and round perdition's flames before I give him up. Prepare to alter course.
Yeah, Colin. Second star to the right and straight on till morning, as they said in the Disney film.
Don't think that was Disney Star Trek.
No. Talking about the Peter Pan one.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mr. A.W.K, and tonight is up with me is Archer Colin, my co-host.
Hello.
And as you saw that clip earlier, we will be talking about it eventually. So, also, I've got something else to show off tonight. I've got new glasses. Transition ones and all. So, it was goodbye to those old bloody pair because they got on my nerves and they made me look like a bloody weirdo, I'll tell you. What do you think, Colin?
You think it was the glasses that made you look like a weirdo? Okay.
Well, they were thick and all this now. I wanted the brains ones from Thunderbirds when I originally wanted those pair, but nope. He said he couldn't get them. But anyhow. So, good evening, PJ. Listening in the background, working. And hey, Specky. Yes. I've got to wear them full time. But anyhow, right, so ages ago, I suggested that we post a clip from Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. The one thing I didn't expect it to like blow up that much. Well, how could I put it? Over 10,000 views so far.
A lot of views.
A lot of views. And I'm the one who suggested it. I'm surprised it didn't go through the roof. And the fact, apparently, it's still going to this day.
Shows how popular it is.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But if I try and find it on the old YouTube studio at the moment, because you've got more other clips on there, Colin.
Hmm. There's a few more on there.
Oh, yes. Where is it? Right. So it is up to 10,050 views and 162 likes.
Wow.
99.4 and 39 comments.
Nice.
Oh, yes. So tonight we decided to show it on here to see if we get more views. But he's absolutely gone through the roof. That's the main thing. The way I see it, we could end up past, well, it's the way I see it, for the last 372 days, which is marked on here, it could go past 12k views.
Yeah. Certainly put the view numbers up, or the active views up, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. But on the first part of the video, viewers still are watching around at the 30-second mark, and then it starts to drop.
Wow.
So 80% of the viewers are still watching at the 30-second mark. So it is a very popular clip.
Yeah.
And it is being copyright claimed, but no impact to it, which is brilliant.
Yep.
So, any ideas, Colin, and why the clip is so popular?
It's a very popular movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that will be that particular bit. I mean, at least we haven't. I mean, what we maybe should do, thinking about it, is sort of say put up a clip of both of Spock's deaths. Sorry, spoilers for a 50-year-old movie, but the one where he pretends to be dead after in the sim, and then at the end, and see if they anything like as popular. Because I would imagine certain scenes. And we haven't got the I don't think we've got the either, have we?
That went right through my eardrums, that did. Yes, we have.
We haven't actually. I only said that. I say that. I say we've actually got both of them. We've got the I have been and always shall be, and that's only got 5 years. We've got the cut. Yeah, interesting. Neither of those are anywhere near. It's just something about that quote.
It's more Shakespeare, isn't it?
I'm just looking down. I'm just looking down the playlist thing. I'm just looking at what we've got. We've got 10. Well, that's by far the top one. What's the second one down? Is we've got 50. No views on one of them. There's only 2 second one. And 165 from the West Wing.
Mm-hmm.
13 views from Doctor Who. I'm just looking at them. 738, 459. So I think looking down, the second most popular one is
Infamy.
Yeah. Interestingly, the third most popular one, then the one of that I thought would have been was To Serve Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's one above that. Interestingly, it's the Babylon 5 one, which is simply humorous, where the Emperor cuts off the cuts his humorous objective. So there's nothing I can see off the top of my head that's particularly in common with those.
Yes.
I suspect a lot of it may also be how, you're the expert when it comes to anything like hashtags and the rest, how we put those up.
I'm still trying to figure out hashtags myself.
Yeah. And the length of them, I'm not entirely surprised. The one we've got no views on at all is a 2-second clip. So we've got 7 views on an 11-second clip, on a 4-second clip.
Yeah, but Atomics has been put on private. That's the thing.
Oh, has it? Oh, right.
Yeah, we never posted it.
Sorry, excuse me. Right. Well, maybe we should unprivate it then.
We could do.
See what happens there.
May have to hashtag it. But yeah, Carry On one. I think, should we post more Carry On ones? If we can find them.
Well, I think the point is, putting on things there that we thought were going to, or when I thought was going to be ones that people that would resonate with people.
Yeah.
But like the Princess Bride there, he's only got 52 views. You keep using that word, we've got almost as many views for Gun Who Can't Major. Oh, damn it! I forgot the character's name. For It Ain't Our Bottom. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. There doesn't seem to be any. I wonder if part of it is in how we title them.
Yeah.
Maybe, depends what people search for, what attract people's attention.
Because you remember remembering the 60 cult British TV classics?
Vaguely, but yeah.
I think, yeah, apparently it's still partially blocked. So it's visible in the United States, UK, Canada, Germany, and Australia, but not around the rest of the world, which is surprising.
Well, to be honest, I don't know how many views we actually get from other countries around the world. No.
Well, with the Khan clip, we'll just have it for tonight. We'll do it later. Well, before the end of the show, we show it again later, and then we go there. Hey, Miranda.
Hey, Miranda.
Always great to have you here. Just pop in and say hello. But welcome anyway. So, back to these guys. So, the thing is with Khan, right, with that clip, it is more like a Shakespearean, what you call it? Shakespearean.
It's very definitely a Shakespearean type of drama.
Yeah. The question is, what do you think the elements of Rafa Khan is linked with, like a Shakespeare play? Because there's got to be like a link in there somewhere to a few Shakespeare plays or one entire play.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if you're talking, if you're talking Shakespeare plays, you've got differences. You've got comedies. You've got historicals and various sorts of things, various subjects of plays, but it's got a very particular, I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't say, in fact, I might perhaps not necessarily say Shakespearean. I might say theatrical.
Yeah.
In that it's that sort of projection. I mean, even though he's probably about 2 inches away from the mic over his head, it's done in such a way as if you're projecting it. The language is there as if you're projecting it to an audience sitting in a theatre.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if they actually, well, not a musical, but actually did Rafa Khan as a play on stage?
Oh. That's a very good question, Miranda.
Right.
At the risk of annoying PJ, I'd say he's a tragic character. So if you if you think about it, if you follow it through, what's his beef with Kirk?
Yes, that is a good point.
What's his beef with Kirk? His beef with Kirk is Kirk abandoning him on the planet, and then something happened, and which set it off for one of the other planets blows up or whatever. Basically, Kirk's got no way of knowing this happens. He leaves them there, and maybe just because they don't come back to check, they end up on this icebound, Arctic hellhole.
Well, we did mention that.
So, from that point of view, yeah, I mean, he's a tragic character in that his it's not all his fault the way things go. He is a victim, he's a victim of circumstance. He ends up, we later learn that the woman he fell in love with
she
died.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely tragic elements.
We blamed Kirk for that, didn't they?
Yeah, it's. In fact, I'm sure. In fact, I'm absolutely certain the comparison has been made before than that, but maybe, but maybe not Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Melville.
Yeah.
It's Ahab. It's the white whale.
Mm-hmm. I kind of think he is a tragic character. He was made that way. Kirk's actions led to him suffering and trying to seek a Sorry, I can't pronounce that, but can you pronounce that? Because I'm tongue-tied. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the thing is, it's what it is. It's a well-written character. I mean, they've taken a one-off episode from what 30 years earlier, 20, 30 years earlier, 20 odd years earlier, and then they've turned it into a combination of a revenge thriller, submarine warfare, and a degree of almost espionage thriller of some aspect of it. You know, it's got a lot of it.
Right. I'm going to throw the cat out of the bag for a second. I watched Strange New Worlds last week, episode 3. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And it was a time travel episode, right? Where Leanne, Kirk's niece, goes back in time with James T. Kirk, right?
Well, they actually bought. I thought it was his brother they bought in.
No,
so
another timeline.
I was going to say, so they're now destroying Kirk as well.
Yeah, and they've gone back in time to stop someone assassinating Khan in the 20th century. And you think, hang on, oh, really? And it turns out to be a Romulan. So, I don't know what's going on there. And then you see a glimpse of Khan as a young child saying, "Are you here to kill me?" Well, no, really. It's the whole time travel thing, if that you go back in time and kill Khan and prevent, what happens in the future. It's a whole complicated thing, really.
And then when you get to the future, what incentive have you got to go back and kill Khan because you don't know anything's wrong?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It doesn't work. Well, no, it only ever, that sort of thing can only ever work logically if you do it as a split, as time is splitting off. It can't work.
Yeah.
It
that's
can,
the right for you.
Yeah, but I mean, it cannot work if you say, okay, you go back in time. I mean, it's similar to the proverbial grandfather paradox. You go back in time to change an event.
Yeah.
Right? To make the future better. The future gets better or whatever, right? But that's the future then. Okay, so that action doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So why then does future or present, how you call it, you have any reason to go back in time and make a change?
Yeah.
You don't have any reason to do it. So that sort of thing doesn't work unless you go back and unless either you can't make the change or your actions are always happened.
Yes.
So you don't make, and unless you don't make any change, or your actions split off another timeline, which is what they did with Star Trek 09.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing about time travel. But anyway, back to Wrath of Khan. I'm just going to. I was trying to mention it earlier. Would it make a great stage play?
I have no idea.
Not a musical, but just a stage play.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what will make a good stage play.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're consistent with it, there's well, I think it works. I think they do one thing I think they do quite clever, quite well with time travel is Jodie Taylor's Chronicles of St Mary's, and what they do is they go back. They're all historians. They go back. They do have some events that change, but what they do is they go back and they try to rescue stuff that's lost in history. But what they do is, for example, there's one where they go back where King John loses the crown jewels and that when he's crossing the estuary of the Wash. What they do, rather than go and grab them and bring them back to the present, what they do is they move them so they're still lost, they hide them, and then they range from to be found where they can be found by future, i.e. their present, archaeological dig. So they do things like that, and it works because they have this thing where they cannot take anything out of the past. They can't, it works. That sort of thing actually works a lot better than the sort of, okay, well, let's go back and see what happens if we go back in time,
Yeah. It's like the whole clip with, I don't know, well, we'll best not play it anyway. Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor going on about the bootstrap paradox.
Yeah.
About Ludwig Beethoven. And apparently the time traveler is Ludwig Beethoven.
There's one, there is a similar one. I think I suspect maybe they didn't want to touch, but I think it's a sci-fi novelette or a short story somewhere where basically someone, I think it's a priest or something. Basically, what happens is they go back and they become Jesus. They can't find Jesus, so they become Jesus.
Okay.
So what you've got is again, that's a situation where you go back and your actions don't affect the past. They don't change the past. They make the past. Your actions don't affect it. Like I said, what we're talking about on Saturday, if I remember right. If you look at it, you've come forward, and if you start doing it, it's a purely utterly chronological event from start to finish of the history. You get to this point, and at this particular point, someone from the future turns up, does things, and carries on, and that's history.
Yeah.
So when you get, they've always done it. They've always done it. The prime example for that is something I know you've never seen. It's Babylon 5.
I know.
Where at the risk of spoilers, they
sticking a Babylon 5 button on these days.
well, no, but it's very well done because what they do is, I was rewatching it recently. They have a character who goes back in time. No, they have this mythical character or this semi-mythical character from 1,000. They know there was something unusual about his origins and unexplained origins. Typical sort of semi-legend thing. He goes back and he disappears. Then you get to a particular point in the present when they identify something about some bloke that is very similar. And then later on in the story, that person goes back in time and becomes this character. So you've got this circle that it's always happened because it always happens.
Yeah.
But it works. I think it works quite well because the logic follows. There's actually a point in time. I mean, they say, you sort of say, well, where does that start? Yep, that's on Miranda. Exactly. Go and spoil it for everyone that hasn't seen a 40-year-old show. But the thing is, I was watching it, and there's a point that one of the complaints you usually get about this sort of story. I mean, there's a Harry Harrison is second or third stainless steel rat novel.
Yeah.
Really good, because at one point he says, but wait a second, he ends up saying, wait a second, but in fact, it's almost a Doctor River song thing where Jim.
Oh, don't get started on that.
No, but what happens is Jim DeGroots meets this guy, beats him because he's come back to, I can't remember exactly, but basically Jim DeGroots first meets this guy who's come back to avenge himself on Jim DeGroots because Jim's done something in his future and this guy's past, right?
Yeah.
I think if I remember right, there's 3 points that they meet. But at the end, is basically the only reason this guy comes back and starts off is because he came back and started off. So there's no discernible point. Now, the thing is, there is actually a discernible point. I was watching it again recently. That in the Sinclair story, right, there is a discernible point where you can say that's what started it.
Yep.
And basically, there's a battle going on. There's a war going on. And one of the alien characters says, we really should. What they take a pilot cap. So they take this guy prisoner. They examine him. They discover that he has got Valen's soul, and that's what starts the whole thing off at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, okay, so that's a circle there. But where do you start drawing the circle? Well, actually, you start drawing the circle at the point where the alien, which they say, okay, choose quickly. We're fast running out of targets to bring in. And she goes, that one.
Okay.
Because whichever one, because if one is chosen, they're brought in, they are discovered to have Valen's soul, which is why the whole story follows through, and they then go back. So whichever pilot she pointed out would have, that's the point, because that's the point they come in, and that's the point at which the one they discover is going to have the soul. If she'd chosen someone else, no, it wouldn't work, but it would. You see what I'm saying? Is that you can say, okay, well, she chose that one. So because she chose that character, that's the one that goes back in time.
Right.
I mean, it's not entirely linear. There's always going to be problems with that sort of thing. But which is as Jamie says, it's why Jamie hates time travel. It's a concept which is very difficult to do well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Con.
I was going to say, like a certain character in my first book.
The only way you can, as I say, effectively, there are 2 ways that you can make time travel. Well, 3 ways that you can make time travel work.
Yeah.
The first one is you go back, and whatever you do that changes time, splits time off. So you get the prime timeline and the Kelvin timeline, which is great. It means you can ignore all the Star Trek shit after 2009. You can ignore anything Star Trek after Enterprise, real time wise. Nothing was made after. You can go back and you can't do anything. You go back and whatever happens, you can't do anything. You go back and you try and nothing happens. Time events can spike. You try to do this and you slip. Whatever you do, you can't change anything.
Yes.
Yep. Or perhaps you go back, but you can't touch anything. You're back there as an observer only. As similar idea, but again, you can't touch anything.
All right.
Or the third one is you go back, and as in the case of that science fiction story about Christ, you always did.
Yeah.
That's it. The event that you go back to observe, you caused. And you always did cause it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that was a segment of Colin trying to explain time travel.
If you'd like to repeat that, rewind.
Yes, go right back and then start watching. You may be behind the times on the chat, but keep going.
Now, what we ought to do,
Mm-hmm.
you ought to edit. If you edit this when it goes up,
Yeah.
put a time link in there and link back from here back to that bit where we start talking about it.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
You know, want to follow this again? Link back to this time code.
Yeah. I'll do that later. Oh, God. Well, okay. Yeah. I know I don't want to bore anyone to death about my first book.
Not until it's published, anyway.
We're getting close.
And then, by God, you'll be boring everybody to death with it.
Funny. Well,
It's called publicity.
They don't know about the second one yet, is it?
Mm-hmm.
What we've been writing. Yeah, because I've got two characters in my first book. One that goes backwards, and the other one that keeps going in reverse. Well, reversing time now and again, which you'll find fun as hell.
Yeah. But the thing is, go on.
No,
I was going to say, you go on, because I was going to bring us back to Wrath of Khan.
Well, I was going to say, when I came up with those characters, what did you honestly think?
I've seen similar ideas before, but that's not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot. There's at the risk of something like that, PJ, something like that. Yes.
A river, he can't pronounce it properly.
Well, not you can't pronounce it properly.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I'll rephrase that. You don't pronounce it the way you spell it, so you can't blame poor old PJ. He's never seen it written down. I have to remember how to spell it whenever I write it down because you pronounce it.
It's called Gazulamond.
Yeah, but you don't spell it that way.
I didn't come up with the name properly. Bloody Siri did.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, Jeb. But yeah, that's fine. So look,
leave it. Leave it. Let's just talk about
I'll say that. No, but no. I mean, there's again. Odd enough, I was talking to someone today when I was on after this course. There's another episode of Babylon 5, which is very, very relevant to the British, especially the English and the Welsh.
Right.
And I will now, having given that one hint, I'll see if anybody in chat can actually pick up which episode it is. But it does relate to, at one point, they point out that what a particular character is supposed to have lived backwards. So maybe he remembered us in the past, his future in the past, and this particular event occurred. I'm being a little bit careful because there's one line in there where the only English character says, "Where I come from, his story is very powerful."
Yeah. Well,
but there is a very famous character in mythology who in some accounts lives backwards.
Well, Benjamin Button lived his life backwards, didn't he?
Don't know, never seen the film.
No, Benjamin Button. When I watched the film, he was born old, and he died as a baby.
I'm trying to remember when I was a lad, a lot younger. I'm sure I listened to a radio version of not War of the Worlds, The Time Machine.
Yes.
And I've never actually read The Time Machine. But I'm sure I remember something, and that's why this is going back. And I was a kid at the time, so then I wasn't, fully understanding. Where they reckon that the Eloi did that. They were born old and died young or something. As opposed to time. Look, I mean, you say that. I think it's a Terry Pratchett quote, but I might be wrong. Where someone reckons that we actually experience life in reverse. The logic being that we remember the past.
Yeah.
Right? But our main sense is, if you think about it, when we, if you translate that, when we look at the world, we look ahead. We look at what's coming. So, if you could translate that, so if you're remembering the past, is that equivalent to seeing what's coming ahead? You know, it's I can't remember exact logic. It's an interesting logic, but if it's maybe it's Terry Pratchett, it's not meant to be a sensible. It's not meant to be a serious idea, but it's a clever idea.
It's not like that Red Dwarf episode, is it? Backwards.
No, that was the other one, because obviously when they.
Yeah, because that was funny as hell. You know, it's not a barroom brawl, it's a barroom tidy, unrumble, having a fight backwards.
Yeah. What will it do?
It'd be great when we get to the big crunch.
There are, you say that, there's great, I mean, marvelous. I think I'll give you another Terry Pratchett one, The Great Atuin, where he's Star Turtle is looking for to mate, and it's called the Great. There's one very clever, and if you know your cosmology, where the Star Turtle is either will keep on swimming and always keep on swimming through space. That's known as a steady gait to GAIT, as in pace walking. Or the other one is he's looking for a mate, and that's known as the Big Bang Theory. Now, cosmologically speaking, there were two possibilities once the Big Bang Theory had been established of the universe, depending upon the amount of matter there is in the universe. Either the universe will continue expanding indefinitely until literally everything falls apart. Literally, even the molecules cannot fall apart, and that's known as the heat death of the universe. In fact, no, there are three. Sorry, there are three. The second theory is that if there is exactly the right amount of mass in the universe, you will reach an equilibrium point. But if there's slightly more mass in the universe than that, it'll reach that point, and then it will start pulling back and contracting on itself, and that will become literally a big crunch. An interesting question being, we'll try and make sure I'm back to that one.
Did you ever see that episode of Futurama where the professor used a time machine that only went forwards?
I'm not sure, probably.
Yeah, because he invented this time machine that went forwards, and he gets to the point where they're watching the end of the universe, and they go, "Hang on a minute, it's a new Big Bang just happens, right?" So a new universe. So he goes, "Oh, if we keep," and they kept going forwards and forwards and forwards until they got to the right time.
Yeah, I've seen the cyclical timing. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. But the thing is, how many alternative universes are created from that Big Bang going?
Well, that's one of these things, is that you do that, but is it one universe? Is the multiverse bubbles?
Mm-hmm.
You know, universe between universes. Yeah. I mean, but it's like, yes, exactly. In what was that? What's that where you pull out and they're playing the whole universe is marbles?
Men in Black at the end.
Men in Black, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, but and I've now completely forgotten where I was going to go with that one. I mean, one of the things that gets me is when people say, "Isn't it?" You know, one existence of the proof of God, perhaps, is that the universe is just right for life. To which my answer is, Isn't it amazing that when you pour water into a glass, it always it always adopts the shape of the glass?
Yeah.
No, it's not amazing, and it's not amazing that the universe. It's not that the universe is made for us to exist in. It's that we exist because we exist in response to the conditions of the universe. Yeah, I know what you mean, PJ. It's a question that's it's like anything else. Until someone can actually find a way to prove it one way or the other, it's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
As you said, I mean, we don't, if you need to come up with X number of dimensions to prove your theory, well, maybe your theory doesn't have everything.
Well,
Maybe it does. Maybe
talking like the branch of a tree here.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got to come up with something, if in order to describe your theory, you've got to come up with some completely new idea out of nowhere, then there's one of two things has happened. You've actually been real clever. You've come up with an idea and you've actually discovered some new facet of reality, which is distinctly possible, or you've not, and you're missing something. Your theory is missing something if you have to invent a whole new branch of mathematics, a whole new set of dimensions to explain it. One of those two things is probably is correct. You may have discovered something new, or you may be missing something, which is why you're wrong, which is why you've had to come up with some idea.
Right. Well, back to the rough part.
Yeah, I say there is of course one massive glaring great thing in the Wrath of Khan. One glaring great problem with the Wrath of Khan. Of course. Yeah, I agree. I say, PJ. Yeah, exactly. If you have to invent alternate dimensions, then then either you have discovered something which we've got no way of proving, or you're talking crap. Your theory is missing something. But no, what I just do is, of course, one really big glaring problem with the Wrath of Khan.
Go ahead.
Well, the character that recognizes Khan never met him.
That's true.
It's simple. If you shift it around so it was Sulu instead of Chekhov, Sulu's met Khan. Yeah. Chekhov was not on the Enterprise, or Walter Koenig was not in Star Trek in Space Seed. It's not a case of his character wasn't there. His character hadn't been introduced at the time, I think. So yeah. Yeah, I mean,
carry on.
No, exactly. I mean, it's one thing that only if you let it, only if you start thinking about it, does it actually spoil or change anything. It's a great, it's still a really good film. But people said, well, maybe he was just on board the ship, but he wasn't on the bridge at the time, and this sort of thing,
Yeah.
It's just something that the writers either forgot or didn't think anybody was going to notice.
Yeah. Well, all I can say about the Wrath of Khan is that it is absolutely it's going to be the iconic Star Trek film.
Adds a whole new meaning to the phrase earworms.
Yeah, and it can, to me, in my eyes, it should have never been attempted to being remade. But that's J.J. Abrams for you.
Well, the thing is with that is
was he trying to redo Space Seed? That's the thing.
Well, no, but the point is either one. What he was trying to do, I think, with that episode, he was trying to. I don't know if fan bait or member berries is quite the right word, but he was. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
you really wanted her Villachess to be.
Go off topic here. I know there's a clip out there. I wanted to create it myself where I wanted to add it to this opening, where you had "Welcome to Fantasy Island" and then it switches to "Car."
Yeah.
I know there's a clip out there. It's just trying to find it.
Yeah, exactly. Cross casting. But what I think JJ was trying to do, if I credit him with good intentions, or he or his wife, whoever it was trying to deliberate. The biggest problem, the two biggest problems with that was, as I remember, no, it's not Khan. No, of course it's no. Benedict Cumberbatch is not playing Khan. My name is Khan Noonien Singh.
Yeah,
at which point,
face change and look like Sherlock now.
Yeah, no, but at which point, in that setting, the only logical thing for Kirk and Spock to do was look at his and go and say, "Who?" Because they'd never met him.
Yeah.
They had no idea who Khan. I mean, they or what the guy from the or what the guy from the what's it was. But you know, they were clear. I mean, whatever it was, beyond whatever it was called, whichever one it was obvious. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously that. Okay, well, the second original Star Trek film did Khan. We're going to redo the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
But we're going to reverse it so that it's Kirk that dies and not Spock. And that way we can have Spock go insane and beat the crap out of
And what saves Kirk? A tribble!
A tribble with Kirk's
with Khan's DNA or blood, you know.
Yeah, but they may have known who Khan was from the histories.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't immediately, I mean, they wouldn't have any idea who Khan actually was. The name wouldn't mean anything to them except as a historical figure. Like someone turning around to you and saying, "My name is Genghis Khan." And you laugh and say, "What, really?
Can I have your autograph?
After 1,000 years?"
Yeah, but Bill and Ted done a good one with that. They picked that Genghis Khan so they could do a presentation for their school.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen any. I've not seen any of the new Star Trek after the second episode of Disgrace. No, Disgracery. No, I know I lied. I think I got 15 minutes into the first episode of Strange New Worlds and gave up after the hot Vulcan sex. Not because I had an objection to it, but sorry, no, that's not how the Vulcans work. And you don't need that. Go away. Well, I can't remember, but there was certainly, it was implied, and you know, no, he goes back to Cetapole and now apparently they're bringing in Kirk. I thought, no, sorry, but and a lot of reviews I've seen seem to say that the second series isn't not too much anyway. So no, I've not seen, but yeah, I mean, obviously I'm aware of things like apparently his great granddaughter, you know. But then again, PJ, let's be honest, it's probably it was probably, they were probably told never to speak of it again, you know, a bit like Mikey Spock. Oh, let me see. An entire starship has just gone 1,000 years into the future with this really super secret drop, with, you know, where it's glide that can basically go across the universe. How do we stop this becoming? How do we say, okay, this never turned up in this never turned up in history before. Oh, we'll tell everyone it's a secret. So all the family members of the entire crew of the Enterprise are sworn to secrecy about the fact they ever had these family members, and absolutely dumb ideas they seem to come up with.
It's me. Is it me, or they're just trying to, add more complications to the entire Star Trek franchise at the moment?
I don't know. I think they are. I think they're creatively bankrupt. I think they've got. If they have any idea at all of why people actually like real Star Trek, they are letting that take, I would say, second place, but not so much you really see. They're sticking it in the boot of the car. They're sticking it in the boot of the trailer of the car, 3 cars behind them. From the message that they seem to be wanting to do of how everything should be. I've actually saw today. I'm going to watch it. I was talking to a lady. I say after this employment course I was on, we got chatting because there was a film a couple of years, 3 or 4 years ago now, which I'm really going to have to watch, called "The Kid Who Would Be King."
Yeah, I think I heard of that one.
Yeah, it's basically some 12-year-old kid goes into the Arthurian mythology. He goes into a building site and he pulls a sword from a stone.
Yeah, I have seen a trailer for that.
Yeah. Now the thing is, you look at the trailer, and of course, definitely 2019. Yeah, there's one of the girls. There's Asian. Very diverse. It looks like London, but that's because it's set in modern day wherever. There's no problem with that.
Question is, why do you find Excalibur in the middle of a building site?
Well, yeah, apparently because it was apparently Morgana's coming back when there's at the time of a solar eclipse and things. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but.
I thought they gave it back to the Lady of the Lake, saying, "Here you go, love. He doesn't need it anymore."
Well, but maybe. Well, I don't know. No, don't forget that. This well, okay. Now you're potentially making a classic mistake there.
Go on.
There are 2 swords in the King Arthur legend. Yes. One is named, one is not. There is Excalibur, and there is the sword in the stone.
Yes.
He does not draw Excalibur from the stone. Right. He gets Excalibur from the Lady in the Lake. And he returns, or to be more precise, Bedivere, at his orders, eventually returns Excalibur to the Lady in the Lake. So the sword in the stone is not Excalibur. Yes, exactly. This is something that modern writers don't seem to do, is using brains. But I think, no, but what I'm saying is, I've only seen clips of it, but because it's set in a modern day secondary school, then fine. I've got no problem with the fact that there are girls on the, that when you see them in their armor, the clips in their armor, there's basically a modern cop. There's year 8 and 9 or whatever, of a modern comprehensive of a modern secondary school. So of course it's massively diverse. But as someone said, I mean, but you've watched Strange New Worlds. How many males are there actually on the bridge of the Enterprise?
I'm trying to remember now. Quite a few, actually, because the thing is that you've got the background staff and all.
Okay, I'll rephrase that. How many of the named bridge characters, the characters that you can name and that are in the credit titles, are male?
You're talking about the entire ship?
I'm talking about, you think the bridge, the main characters are. Yeah, good question, PJ. But okay.
You've got the Doctor, you've got Spock.
Okay, so you've got the Doctor, you've got Spock, you've got what's his face?
Pike.
In Pike, yeah.
Yeah.
Spock and Pike are the two maker, and the Doctor, okay. Or any of the other.
Yeah, I've got to look it up now. I've got to really.
Oh no, I
look
was going to say, and how many of them are females?
Well, frankly, I don't give a shit if they're female or not.
No, but the point I'm saying is I do this for representation. But okay, so according to these things, 80% of everything, what I'm saying is they seem to push these things and then wonder why people sort of don't, people don't like the shows.
Well, I don't care anyway. I'm just watching it for the storyline.
Yeah, and the question is,
you had a chief engineer who they killed off, right? Which was an albino Andorian. His name was Hemmer, and they killed him off in season 1. And he was a bloody good bridging.
So he. Engineer. Oh, wait a minute. So the albino Andorians, they were the blind ones, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Blind engineer. Interesting idea. But, okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, they killed him off in the first season, which was ridiculous.
Well, I seem to recall they get some guy that is questioning Mikey Spock, and his penalty for questioning Mikey Spock is he's the one that's immediately killed on a meteor or something. But
yeah, and now they've replaced him with Carol Kane.
I don't know. I've seen reviews. As I say, I've seen reviews of it, but nothing I've seen in any of the reviews makes me want to even start watching it.
I just want. Yes, we know. Now for the advisor. I'm just watching Strange New Worlds to see where it goes, because it's supposed to go lead into, his death. Well, sort of death, where he has to be in the chair and then press that button all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Most of the bridge crew are women anyway.
Well, it's like a lot of these things. The problem is it's like any other sequels, the direct sequel that leads straight into where most of it's going to end up anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to end up, as you said, at some point it's going to end up. Does it have to? Because it's an alternate history. So, no, hold on. Is it? No, because.
Oh, think of it this way, Colin. It's only 10 episodes long. That's what the new format seems to be.
Yeah. Hey. If it's 10 episodes and you're enjoying it, great.
Well, yeah, might as well. It's 10 weeks.
This is why I must admit. I have no interest in watching most of these new things, but this is why. Although I laugh when cynically when Disney dropped the Willow series and the rest of it and stopped showing it, but
it's cancelled now. Typical.
Yeah, but at the same point, I don't think I think it's a shame they've done that, because there are people, I'm sure, who genuinely like those shows.
Yeah,
and I've been at myself, and I've enjoyed shows. And I would like them to have carried on, but I understand that the mechanics, but they're still out there. I can still watch what's existing, just because they're not making it anymore. I can still watch Space Above and Beyond. I can still watch Total Recall, the TV series, whatever. Even though they're captured after 1 or 2 seasons, I can still watch them. Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan of something which didn't do that well, but that doesn't mean okay, so it's stopped. But the fact that there are if people are actual fans of it, really are fans, really find these shows interesting and enjoyable, and want to watch them again, then I think they should be able to watch them since they've been made. I think it's a shame that they have to cancel them. Even though at the same time, I can sort of laugh at the Schadenfreude at the fact that they make these things that seem to be pushing messages rather than entertainment.
Oh,
but if some people enjoy them, then they should still be able to enjoy it.
Well, the one thing I do hate the most is see they do one fantastic season, it ends on a cliffhanger, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, this is why I've said it before, I have an intense detestation for the cliffhanger season ending.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Sylvester McCoy did it good in Dragonfire.
No, it wasn't a season ending.
I know, but he did a fantastic cliffhanger.
Yeah, literally. But but the point of what I'm saying is, yes, but you knew when you saw that they'd already made the next episode, so it was going to come back. I mean, I tend to think that these days that if you put a cliffhanger at the, I mean, even if it's something like Next Generation, when it ends up with Picard,
season.
Yeah. I tend to think of it in some ways as okay, but maybe I'm cynical about it and I don't like it, but I think, okay, so do you not think there's enough do you not think you've got enough of an audience to come back next series without you putting a hook in for them to come back?
Yeah, but back then you didn't have like multiple streaming services. It was just for views, really.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, it's fine, but I think, okay, so how much faith do you not have enough faith in your product that people are going to come back and watch no matter what, that you have to stick in a cliffhanger ending to make people come back? Yeah. I mean, I genuinely used to do these things, and I'd watch these things, and a lot of these shows I'd watch, and I wouldn't watch the last episode. I'd record the last episode. I'd skip through to the end of the last episode, and if those words "to be continued" came up, that tape went on that tape went on the shelf. And when series came back, then I'd watch that one into the next one. It literally stopped me watching something with a season end if it said it was okay. So maybe I literally don't do that. I hate it with such a vehemence because I think it comes across to me as lazy, as not having enough confidence in what you're going to do. There is a difference between laying seeds for something that you're going to want to see. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, are they going to go with that? I mean, even to go back to Disgracery, wow, they've sent the Enterprise 1,000 years into the future. That's not a cliffhanger. That's a seed. That's a case of, okay, where are they going to go with this? It's not a case of they've sent the Enterprise 1,000 years in the future, but Mikey Spock or whoever is fallen off the ship and is left floating through in a time stream, or is about to be hit by a meteorite or something. There's a difference between saying, okay, this is where we're going. You're going to want to watch, see, we're going to keep giving you interesting stories. You're going to want to come back and watch this. And to my mind, between that and saying, okay, cliffhanger ending, because the worst, I say, is when you find that your cliffhanger ending and the show gets cancelled for whatever reason. I mean, that's just how that's something I absolutely hate. As you say, you do a cliffhanger ending and the show never comes back. I mean, okay, so what it is you can write your own stories. You can have your own headcanon about it, but
I just like a questionable ending sometimes.
There's as I say, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, well, what happens next? I want to see what happens next. Mm-hmm. I'll be interested to see what happens next. But when it's an immediate, okay, you get the story. I mean, I've never read, and I never watched Game of Thrones, but even I'm aware of the fact that apparently Jon Snow has been bleeding out for the last decade because George R. R. Martin can't bother his ass to write the next book in the series. That's the sort of thing that I really hate. I don't like that in a book. I don't like that in a TV. I didn't watch. I liked the Harry Potter movies. I did not watch Deathly Hallows Part 1, until I had that and Deathly Hallows Part 2 at the same time to watch together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, even though from what they did, I wasn't going to watch June. I didn't watch June, the new June, for quite a while, because I knew that it was supposed to be Part 2.
And now there's going to be a Part 3.
Yes, they're going to do June Messiah as well, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I was only mentioning that in the tweet the other day, and I said, "Is there going to be a Part 3?" And Part 3 gets announced. Georgie's never going to finish that series. No.
Well, I mean, the thing is, to be fair to the man, if he has genuinely lost his passion for it, lost interest in it, carrying up to do other things, doesn't know where he wants to go, fine. But in that case, fine, great. You're not going to do particularly good work if you're forced to. But in that case, put your mind to it. Do a short story which ties up the cliffhanger bits. You can leave everything else to go. Don't leave your main character bleeding to death for 10 years. You know, just if you've got an idea, you know, if you're doing this, bring it back. If you're not going to go back and revisit the whole series, fine. Yeah, I've never actually read those. I keep meaning to read the Waffle books, but they're supposed to be quite good, I know. But you know, if you're going to do that, then okay, fine. If you've lost interest, admit it. Get up and say, "Hey, Wendy." If you're going to do that, get up and say, "Look, I'm sorry. I have lost my passion for this. I was really into it. I've lost interest. This is a me thing. I've lost my passion for it. And if I carried on doing it, I probably wouldn't be doing you as the fans a service. So I'm going to do my best to stop onto it at this particular point. So there is an ending of sorts. Like any story, no story ever finishes. There's always some more time. So I'll do a short story, tying all the ends up that I can, and then, as Miranda said, then maybe hand it over to someone else if someone else wants to pick them up and do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just leave something hanging, you know, leave someone quite literally bleeding to death and then not come back to them. You know, you know, I mean, I'm cynical. I'm extremely cynical. I've never been into sports at all, but I always used to reckon that if you can't finish it, if your game of football goes into overtime and if you can't finish the job in 90 minutes, then you shouldn't be doing the job. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the problem is, there's a difference between not finishing a series. I mean, obviously, from publishers' point of view, I can see why they're going to pick a book up. It's the biggest book. They're not necessarily going to want to pick up a 10-book series if it's not going to do any good. So they publish first couple of books, they become popular, then they may pick the rest up. So I see where you're coming from. And again, obviously, as we know all too well.
We're lucky I've written the ending to my book series.
Yeah, I say, but I was going to say, but it gives the author time to do the next one. But it's when you do them. Okay, so you do a series, but you do it as a self-contained series. So you do each book ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, great. There's a load of places we're going to go. This is where we're going to go next. This is where we're going to go next. But if that book never gets published, at least there is a closing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as I said, the one that really got me was Space Above and Beyond, where you've apparently got one of the characters killed off, and the rest of them stuck floating in a disabled space life raft or something. If I remember what, or something like that. You know.
Right. Okay. Have we finished, Colin?
I'm sure I can waffle on about a lot more about
No.
unendings, but
Okay. All right. Right. I want to talk about something tonight, which I discovered in the Sun newspaper. Well, the Daily Rag, as we call it, which you're all going to be surprised. Well, I didn't know.
I was going to say what's her name, but they've not been doing that for years, have they?
Who's that?
Page 3. They stopped doing anything interesting in the Sun years ago.
Oh, no, they stopped that ages ago. Right. Okay. This is what I'm surprised about. Apparently, in America, and other countries, they got something called what does it say? Yeah, apparently your body can be liquefied now. Hold on, just answer this question. They're adding trigger warnings to Terry Pratchett's books, apparently.
Oh dear, deity of your choice.
Yeah.
Trigger warning.
Sorry.
What? Warning, you might be triggered by well-written, well-thought-out, provocative ideas. Yeah, they probably do. Yeah, modern people, Generation Z, probably do need trigger warnings for some of that.
Right.
Gen X.
Okay. I'm going to share this for a moment. What it is that I read this story, and apparently you can now be boiled instead of, boiled in a bag or something. Oh. It's just what? Hey, Tadaku. Is this maybe fun and upset you? Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. So, water cremation. What do you think, Colin?
I briefly said, and I can understand the logic of it.
Yes.
I'm tempted to wonder why.
Excuse me, sorry.
I'm tempted to wonder why you want to do that, but
I saw the warning. I'm not amused. Yes, we know. All right. Well, back to this. It's this bit that makes me laugh. The remaining liquid is drained and will go into the sewage system or used to fertilize plants. Or you're going to add an extra pipe on and create little thin wafers.
Yes, thank you for that.
The bones are dried, ground down, and given to the family in an urn. So you really just spread it. The ashes on there. Just.
Well, I'm genuinely not certain what the difference is between that and burying, because if you bury someone, yeah exactly, yeah, cremation does indeed mean to burn, but yeah.
Well, it says there the tank is heated to 152 C and the body is liquefied, leaving just the bones.
Yeah.
I'll definitely not go for anything like that.
Yeah, I'm tempted to wonder I'm tempted to wonder what the difference is. The only difference that I can see between that and traditional cremation is that you've got remains that you've got organic remains that can actually be used, as it said there, for fertilizer.
Yeah, well, the question is that
But if you bury a body, the body's going to decompose naturally.
The thing is that I know. Excuse me. I know one thing is that now you can be like cremated in like a basket, a wicker basket or something now, instead of like a wooden coffin.
Yep.
Right. So, but how the hell is that gonna work? What you got to do? Take your body out of the coffin, strip you down, and then chuck you in the tank and let you boil.
Yeah,
who's gonna do that?
No, sorry, some PJs come. Well, no, I mean, I would imagine. I would imagine what they would do is it would be as it's all the body would go in.
Yeah.
No coffin.
Yeah.
So the body would go. But so does that then mean that for starters you're going to if it's
how you gonna have a proper funeral? That's the main thing.
Well, I would imagine. I don't know. I mean, does that mean that So rather than the coffin going, the body. I don't know. Maybe the coffin goes.
Who's going to take the body out of the coffin? And the thing is this a new scheme to recycle coffins?
Yeah, but no, but yeah. I mean, maybe the body's
nice one. Yeah, I know that.
Mate. I mean, if you're talking practicality, I would think you would have the funeral, and then the body would. At a cremation, what happens is, unfortunately, it's sufficiently far away. I can probably talk about this. The body goes back through the curtain. And actually, you don't see anything after that.
Yeah.
The next thing you see is someone comes out with you. So I would imagine the practicality would be out of back, go through. The body will be removed from the coffin, put in the tank. Now, I noticed, for example, that the body in that picture was female and was wearing female underwear. So I'm not sure. Does that mean then? I mean, if it's
no, they just put it on there, it's for dignity.
Yeah, I'm saying fine. What I'm saying is, presumably the body is put naked into the tank, and then the process happens. So the same sort of thing. So from the point of view of the grieving family, it wouldn't be any difference. I don't know. I mean, it's an unusual idea, but
something else to the Gramble. Well, why do I think that Monty Python sketch? The one yum yum. I haven't seen that one.
You're the gardener, man. You know all about groundwater and the like.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's. I don't know. Is it just some newfangled idea? I
don't feel sorry for the poor sod who's got to take the body out of the coffin.
Yeah. I mean, someone's got to do that. Someone, I mean, it's basically you're going to have more work for the undertaker mortuary staff.
Yeah. As long as but the thing. Oh, here we go. They're the trippers now. That's an interesting point. But anyway, what were you saying, Colin, about getting workers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you say, it's going to be someone's going to have to do the work for that one and get the body out.
Automatic.
Yeah, possibly.
Well,
I don't. But I say the thing is the practicality of that one is the body would have to be. I would imagine the body would have to be naked when it's in the tank.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. Remember the film and the book? I think part of the book. Diamonds Are Forever. The cremation scene.
Long time since I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's an urn full of diamonds. So imagine, trying to do that with the... It'll clog up the machine.
I don't. I mean, it's a weird. Is it just some new idea that someone's come up with to
Well, apparently it's been
supposedly be
going
more?
on in other countries for years.
Wow.
But now they're going to start on it.
I'm not sure what the benefit of that is over cremation.
Yeah, but the thing is, it goes back in your liquefied state goes into the sewage system. It's not right. Don't forget,
No.
it's got to go to right. It goes into the sewage system.
Yeah.
Then it goes straight to the treatment plant. And then the water gets treated, and then we've got to bloody drink it. No.
Yeah. You'll. Well. Yeah, I see where and I would say that whatever you happen to think about it, everything is recycled.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it does sound somewhat gross. And I mean, yeah, I can't see I can't see I can't see any practical the only yeah, exactly, Sadako, exactly.
Yeah.
Soylent Green by second generation.
I'll call it Peckham Springs, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just
well, to me, it just doesn't feel right. You know,
No.
it really doesn't feel right. It's like how can I put it? Yeah, I know I mentioned Soylent Green earlier with the wafer type tournament wafers, you know.
Yeah.
I can understand the whole thing with Judge Dredd 2008, you know, recycle, bodies for recycle, you know, and eat recycled food and all. I can understand that, right? But that's living in megacities, right? But we don't live in megacities or anything.
The thing I could say with that is that it is it seems to be
So Darko, give it a watch or read the book.
The thing is it seems to be what they are doing, and I think you're touching on there. They are taking away something very difficult to define from humanity.
Yeah.
They are taking something away. There are a number of reasons why we have, on a visceral level, a shudder reaction to cannibalism.
Yeah.
Right? There are reasons for that. Some of them are biological reasons. I mean, obviously, in this case, you're talking further stages, but there are psychological, perhaps spiritual reasons for that. And it seems, you know, that may be part of that. May be okay. Well, you're taking away some of the dignity of the dead body. You're taking away the idea if you don't mess with a dead body. You know, you are turning a human body into just another resource.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and a slightly different, I think a lot of the things you go back, when I started work, you had a personnel section. When personnel and staff sections changed into human resources, you knew something was going on.
Yeah.
Different attitude. You're viewing people as resources, and that's it. Similar, I think there's an element of that in this sort of thing, in that if you say, okay, well, once the body's, I can understand it, that once the body's gone, once the soul, whatever it is, has gone, is just a certain amount of meat. Man, it's called Make Room by Harry Harrison, the actual book of Soylent Green. Soylent Green is the film. The book is called Make Room. It's quite a small book, and it's by Harry Harrison. The same guy who wrote the Stanley Stewart books, a very, very, very widely skilled author, Harrison. But you know what I'm saying is that I think it seems to me that it's taking something back, saying, okay, as I said, I can understand from an emotion, from an academic point of view. Once life has left the body, once that is a body, and whatever has happened to the person, but yeah, there's still some. I think you're right. There's still something about it. It doesn't.
It just don't feel right of dumping like human liquefied remains into the sewage system. It's not right.
Yeah. It definitely sounds disrespectful and gross, and
It's, the thing is that, how can I put it? We know there's human waste in the sewage system, right?
Yeah.
But it goes to a sewage treatment plant. But adding that human remains, well, liquefied remains, to the sewage plant will make it more worse.
Yeah.
To me, just liquefy the body and use it for fertilizer. Yeah, or turn it into solid green, but not just what you call just dump it in the sewage system, because we're trying to clean up the bloody sewers as it is.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've seen a few documentaries about people going down in the sewers, just talking about because they did complain once about something about fatbergs or whatever you call it, and it was those hand towels or whatever you call it that people kept chucking down the toilet, and it clogged up the sewage system.
Yep. I mean, there's definitely something about it that makes you go, no. That makes you go dystopian and.
Yeah. But the thing is that dumb. It's just the thing is, I know I live in within the M25. I'm not 10 miles away from London, central London, right? But it just doesn't feel right, Do you know what? Why not just put a wall around the M25 and call this mega city 5 or Brit City or whatever you call it?
I think we should. Yeah, I think put a wall around the M25. We'll get special forces to come in and rescue people that want to come out, and everyone else who wants to live in London can stay in London. Sadiq Khan can rule over it as it rocks and falls apart. And in
political. Don't talk about him.
In 5-10 years' time, we'll come back in and rescue anybody that's left.
Yeah, well, it's not like Escape from New York, is it?
I don't know.
That'd be a great one. Escape from London.
Yeah. Right.
What's this? Can we feel lit with once the walls are up? What's that of it, you cheeky slug?
That'd be a massive, great swimming pool.
Yeah. Okay, going back to this, liquefying, dead bodies. I think someone just read a science fiction novel and went, this sounds like a good idea.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I genuinely can't see what the reason for that and what the explanation for that is.
Yeah.
I really can't see what the advantage. I mean, I can see seven advantages, both economic and ecological, to the idea of being either cremated or buried, or more specifically buried in what's basically a biodegradable cardboard box. Because then that whole thing basically you just go back. What the body's designed to do, it goes back into the system, and it literally recycles properly. The body goes back into the system, back into the earth. I can understand that, as I say, from both the point of view of the cost of
I've just had a thought.
what?
Doctor Who, Dark Water, when the Cybermen turn into rain clouds, turn the dead into Cybermen.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, PJ, what people don't know is, in fact, apparently bones aren't burnt in cremation either. Cremation, I think, doesn't actually burn bone, or doesn't burn all bones, I think. So yeah, there is a stage beyond that, one way or the other. But yes, exactly. You're left with,
don't take up burial space quicker, not so costly, doesn't heat up the atmosphere, and also could be a food soup later on. Boil in the bag, Rob.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I say. I mean, I don't know. And the other question is how long. Exactly, it's a good question. Is how long does it? Well, does it? Okay, maybe I'd heard something different. PJ, thank you for that. I mean, I'd heard something, but maybe I'm thinking about it with something else. Thank you. Another question. It's a good question. Is how long practically does it take to do that?
Yeah.
How long does it? I mean, how long practically does it take to reduce the body, to reduce a body down to liquefied remains?
Well, I know what I want to do when I'm old. I want to go out like what Edward Woodward did in The Wicker Man.
Well, execution and cremation at the same time. No, thank you.
No, so I can shout out the words, Jesus Christ! I still can't get over the ending of that film, that everyone's singing along while he's burning to death.
Yeah, it's a very shock ending, I think, for anyone who's not, if you've not seen it, you don't know the ending of it. All the way through, you expect it very cleverly done.
My nephew works in the local crema, and he says it's very little left over, but they use crema to make ash. Yeah, Wendy.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, I don't know I thought maybe it's something else I'm thinking of, like maybe it's teeth. I thought I remember that there was something that the cremation process doesn't necessarily. Oh, it does. Okay, well there you go, PJ. Then I'll answer that one as well. Then I may be thinking of something else then. But the thing is, I do not know what the particular advantage of that particular methodology is, other than it reduces the body to something that is going to be a lot easier to use for fertilizer material.
Yeah.
That I can see is the only, using the word not necessarily the proper amount of advantage that I can see to that. I don't know what the energy costs are. I don't know how long it takes. Because you've got to apply heat to the water. Mm-hmm. You're heating the water up rather than just straightly directly to the body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Just don't.
I've not heard of it before, but exactly. Yeah, there are other ways of doing it as well. I don't know.
But no, to me, it just feels. I don't mind if they do it, but it just feels so wrong dumping it in the sewage system.
Yes, yeah, that's the bit that just dump. Yeah. Like dumping a dead goldfish down the loo.
Yeah, because remember the episode, which is familiar, that it was Clara and Missy went into the Dalek sewer system, and it was the dark, and all the walls were lined with dead dark walls, sort of Daleks slowly decomposing and dying.
Vaguely.
Yeah, you don't remember that. That was like, you know,
I
Daleks
vaguely
don't.
remember it, but...
And then what happens? They gave the Doctor gave them the regeneration energy, and the sewer struck back against the Daleks.
Oh, I remember some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, just
Having a fumble round.
yeah, just got something.
Yeah, I can see the idea of it, because I know when they said about they don't want people to have like wooden coffins and that anymore, and then they weren't. Oh yeah, wicker baskets. You know,
What's the difference between wood and wicker?
that's
They're still natural resources. That's what I said. I mean, I guess, as I said, I mean, I can see several reasons, both financial and ecological,
yes,
for cardboard or similar easily biodegradable coffins.
Yeah,
which don't cost as much for the financial, and if they're biodegradable, they're going to degrade along with the body. It's going to decompose. Fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I've not heard of this before. You mentioned it earlier on, but I genuinely can't. My first question is why? Genuinely, why?
Yeah.
What is what is the selling point, for want of a better phrase?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that as long as they don't dump, liquefied human remains into the sewage system, because with the sewage system at the moment, they've still got major problems with it. It's all Victorian plumbing and all this and that, so it's not. It's just you add that to it, and it's going to make things more worse. So but yeah, I know we're talking about death now and that, but it's a tough one, isn't it? Like reading up about these small stories, out there on the internet and that.
Yeah, there are some odd ideas, some odd things you see turn up, but I don't know. As I said, it may well be someone may come around. If you look into it further, there may well be a perfectly good reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
That you think, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can honestly see that now. But I say my first question would be, why?
Yes.
And not moaning, whinging why, but a question of what's the point? Why? Please give me an explanation for why this is useful, why this is vital, why this is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's one thing. We're going to change the subject now. Let's not talk about death, shall we? Everyone in the chat, who was fed up with Twitter on Saturday? Come on, own up.
Don't have any bother. I don't think I'm.
Well, you.
Yeah. I wasn't. I mean, I say I don't bother with Twitter. I mean,
yes.
I don't think I've looked at Twitter for the last couple of days. So
yeah, the tweet limits. You mean the tweet? Yeah. It is true. I miss all the drama. The thing is that what happened on Saturday was a bit ridiculous. It buggered up the entire system. I don't know if they've corrected it on anything like that now. But to me, Elon, stick to your space rockets and you know, also the cars. I know you're trying to sort out Twitter, mate, but the thing is, it just sent the system crashing down, really. I agree there. Yes, Miranda, I agree. It was a right old mess. Trying to look at your own tweets, you can't see them. That's good. That's good, Sadaku. Yeah, it's just I don't get it. It's like, what's next? Facebook's gonna cut you down on, you know, how many people you can have friends on there.
I say I have no idea.
Yes, I don't know. I thought when Elon bought Twitter, I thought it was going to be like, you know, an open house or anyone can say anything and not get banned. But tweet limits.
So I saw someone suggest that he's trying to make it profitable. So you've got to, you know, which is why is it if you've got a membership or whatever it's called, you can actually do more or something. But
yeah. But the thing is, it kind of ruins the whole advertising on YouTube type of thing.
Well, I must admit the figures that I saw made me think, God, if you're on Twitter that much in a day, you need to get a life.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm sorry, was it 3,000 tweets? What? Who the hell does that? You've got nothing better to do with your life.
And just that meant it was hard to manage the backlog. Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, well, the thing is, there was no way I was looking at 300 tweets in one day. I think there was like a complete screw up in the entire system. I don't look at 300 tweets a day.
Does it mean, though, what you look at or what is linked to you? Because you don't have to be, because from what I've seen you do it, you know, you go, I don't look at everything in my feed. And if I look at it occasionally, I'm to be quite honest, I find it, I'm thinking, why am I bothering to do this again? Because there's occasionally something I'm interested in, but
it kind of buggers up the whole advertising, like YouTube channels and other people trying to promote their own stuff through YouTube. It kind of ruins the whole thing. I know I've got my own Twitter account now, but the thing is, I'm waiting for my book to get released so I can use Twitter as a promotional platform for it. I know, to gain a whole new audience. It's just limited yourself of saying what you can view and not, you know, it is a bit ridiculous. And sometimes I've noticed on Twitter that there is like advertisements on there and you think, what the bloody hell is this? And it's the same with Instagram. Why do everything advertising?
Well, it's because they want to make money.
I know they want to make money, but it's products you don't really want.
Yeah, but the point is, it's how they make money is by selling advertising. You know,
if you scroll down, you do. If you read the comments, those are tweets too. Yeah. Oh God, Elon, just stick to the bloody rockets for Christ's sake. Oh dear. But anyway, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes because I need to go to the toilet. What about you, Colin?
I don't need to go to the toilet.
Right. Can you carry the show for a little while and just go through the comments?
Again, they're talking about Twitter, which I don't use, but
no, just go on. I'll be back in 5 minutes anyway. Won't be a jiffy.
And my internet just froze just as he was waving goodbye. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. I know what it's saying, Wendy. I've seen that. These things behind the paywall. I think a whole lot of it is because, I mean, didn't Elon say that he wanted to make it more profitable, that his main thing was to make it profitable? In which case, obviously, he's going to be doing things to do that. I mean, I wonder if it's the case of people who got so used to these things. Oh no, I'm annoyed. My email, they've for some weird reason, AOL has just had a complete revamp of the email, and I now get a pinned advert, despite the fact I keep saying not interested, not interested, not interested. So obviously they're trying to put adverts on there, to trying to make money, which is understandable, I suppose. But I said, I mean, I'm like you, Wendy. As I said, I haven't looked at it. I think, I'll look at it, and what I normally get is I'll maybe get one or two. How did I work it out? What's it? One or two mentions and maybe a message or whatever, or notifications and messages, isn't it? And that's it. A lot of it will be someone mentions you in the chat, someone else, and someone else, and someone else. I mean, like for example, Friday, PJ have got several people retweeted about the Castle Crusades game, and you mentioned, I get 5 people saying mentioning this and the long list of people, and that's about all I've got in there. So it's not something that I noticed at all.
I'm back.
We can see.
Yeah. And now I'm off. Bye. Well, I do follow Elon Musk on Twitter, right? But I'm only following him for one thing. When are they going to launch that bloody rocket? They already launched one and it buggered up. So that's why I'm following him. So it makes it to orbit, and then that's it, I can unfollow him. There was a time when Twitter looked like a canary in a coal mine. Certain things could be happening somewhere in the world, and Twitter would be breaking the story long before the conventional news. That is correct.
Yeah.
No, it's like the news is these days.
Well, I mean, the thing is that some of us, less and less of us each year, can actually remember, though, that when you didn't have 24-hour news, when you actually had to wait days to hear about things.
Yeah.
You didn't have 24-hour news channels. And the problem with that is, I mean, I remember when Princess Diana was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing new. There was bugger all on the news but Princess Diana's death. And there was nothing new about it. That's one of the things with this. That I find with that is that, okay, and the point is,
that it was always made me to look at Twitter before, but PJ said it's mostly full of crap nowadays. Like, yeah, it is. Well, just to let you all know tonight, we are broadcasting live on Twitter on the phone. I thought, might as well give it a try.
No, why not?
Well, we could add more destinations. We could broadcast through PJ's channel for a laugh if we want to. Sorry, PJ.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to do out there these days. Is there anything worth doing with it?
Well, tonight was going to be our last show, but at the end of the month, we might be having another one. Talking about,
Yeah, possibly. Hopefully, if we get all sorted.
Channel 5 was the only channel that maintained regular schedule. This prompted a lot of angry letters about its lack of spread. Yeah, good point. I remember when there used to be 4 channels.
I remember when. I remember there was 3 channels, but I remember when Channel 5 was first being mooted. Now, as I've said before, I am absolutely not a sports ball person. I have no interest in any sport whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I was an advocate of Channel 5 being of BBC and ITV getting together, buying the rights for Channel 5 as a terrestrial sports channel.
Yeah.
Because then they could combine their they wouldn't be competing with each other putting things
Mm-hmm.
against each other. They would have the combined resources to actually buy the other stuff and the rest of it.
Yeah, but you know how crap ITV and BBC are now these days.
Well, yeah, well, this was 30 odd years ago.
I know, but that's when it was good.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, I know because I noticed this. You say these things, and exactly, yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember the thing is that
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine line with someone like that with lack of respect. Is it? Yeah, okay, but
Well,
that lack of respect, I was saying, but fine, but.
yeah.
If
Well,
there's nothing new coming out about anything, what's the point of hashing the same ground over and over and over again?
well, the thing is, I remember family viewing time on Saturdays back in the 90s was Big Break, Generation Game, and then Noel's House Party. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I remember from the BBC, and then Casualty was on afterwards. Now it's just reality. Oh, look, dancers, you know.
I wouldn't know. I don't think my TV's been switched on in 2 years.
Well, when they brought back Doctor Who back in 2005, it was for a Saturday night, you know, but it was on about 7:00, right? But
Yeah.
originally, Doctor Who was on what, at 5:35 back in the 60s?
Probably, yeah.
Jukebox Jury, I think it was.
Yeah, it would have been an early evening rather than a slightly later mid-evening one.
Yeah. See, I've seen well, not advertisement, but old adverts on YouTube. One showed about the A-Team being on 5:00 on a Saturday.
Mm.
You know, it's. I don't know what it is, but I think you know, live TV's had its heyday now.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it, I think, is you get a lot on your mind. I mean, the whole idea of a watershed, you know, of you showing certain programs after the kids have got to bed, that's gone by the wayside because everything's available all the time now.
That's something called the Green Triangle, wasn't it?
No, well, no, there was, but no, what it used to be, it was sort of unofficial, but the idea was that
there's no such thing as a watershed anymore, is there?
Yeah, but yeah, the idea was 9:00. If it was adult viewing, in other words, if it wasn't suitable for for youngish kids, because it's expected that by 9:00 most children would be in bed.
Yeah.
So only the adults will be watching the likes of.
I remember when I was a kid, I watched Predator for the first time. It was in a holiday camp on a Saturday night. All the adults were in the hall, and there was me and my older brother watching Predator because we had nothing to do. And that was my first viewing of Predator, which made me fall in love with, you know, the franchise. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know anymore. But anyway, right. Shall we start wrapping up in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah, could do.
But well, how can I put it? It is just a strange thing what we've talked about tonight. We've gone from Rafa Khan to time travel back to Rafa Khan. Then we just talk about, you know, liquefying dead bodies, and now we've talked about Twitter and now Channel 5. What an interesting topics we got come out with.
Well, it's a general waffle stream, isn't it?
Well, we always waffle on in these Monday night streams anyway. It's anything we come to springs to mind, except politics. That's the main thing we stay out of.
Which is why it's getting harder and harder to talk about things.
That's true. But the one thing is that Wimbledon's on at the moment.
Is it?
Yep.
Wow.
That's why the weather's gone nuts. You know, when it's going to rain, Wimbledon's on.
That actually, I also at the risk of
Moist.
breaking, at the risk of breaking your politics thing.
Don't.
No, what I was going to say is Wimbledon has always proved to me an example of why you have to be kept, why you have to describe your terms. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're talking about this thing about pay gaps, yada, 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 all right? What you've got is, and I could be wrong in this. I said I'm not interested in any of this, but no, but you've got what I'm saying is you have to be careful what your terminology is. I mean, it applies to lots of things like this because you say, okay, so at the Wimbledon final, as far as I'm aware, the men and the women get the same prize money.
Yeah.
Right? But at the most the women are going to have to play is the least the men are going to have to play.
Right. Well, I wasn't thinking about that, Colin. I was thinking about the weather turn. You know,
no, what I'm saying to you said it, but it's an idea of that's an example of always sort of where you've got to be careful how you define what your term is about various things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It was always a joke, wasn't it, about the Wimbledon weather or about cricket.
That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to talk about because I don't really watch Wimbledon, right? Because I get bored with tennis. But the thing is that I didn't know the Ashes were on at the moment. But I know it's just they are. I don't know who's winning. But
I don't know who's playing.
England versus Australia for the Ashes.
Is it? Well, fair enough.
It was burnt cricket stumps, you know. Anyway, I was going to say about Wimbledon is that it's like one time when they didn't install the roof, you know, on the centre court. And what happens? It was rain stop play and someone handed Cliff Richard the microphone.
I started playing singing Summer Holiday. I remember that. I remember seeing that. Because he's a big tennis fan. That's fair enough.
And then they stuck on two roofs on the centre court and the court next door. And now they're playing. You know. Oh, God. I really want a violent thunderstorm where I live, but it keeps avoiding us like the plague.
It was spitting a little bit here earlier on when I came back from...
We'll get out and start blowing the cloud this way. But anyway, right. So, Colin, shall we talk about what we've got coming up or something?
If you want to.
Well, what have you got coming up?
All I've got coming up is again this Friday week. PJ and I have got another Castles and Crusades, and I think, if I remember right, I think it's possibly going to be another early start.
Yep. So we don't go until 1 a.m. then.
Well, it might do. If you go to 1 a.m, we might finish the dungeon. I mean, there's no reason you can't. That was part of the reason for earlier start is so we can go on longer.
Well, one thing I do want to mention is that this is the last Monday night with FFSI till October time because we're going to be busy in August, aren't we, Colin?
We might have a little bit to do.
I've got my edits coming back from my book.
Exactly.
Yeah, so hopefully my book will be released at some point. So, anything else?
Not really.
We had
Yeah,
an
King
early
of-
start, and we still went on till 1:30 in the morning. It's when you get lost in it, don't you?
Yeah, at least none of us quite died, PJ. We all came quite close. We all came really close.
Yeah. Well,
Partly because someone got bored and decided to charge in at the acid blob.
an acid blob.
Mentioning no names, PJ. Yes, we've if you've seen it, we've got this quite good idea for how we do exploring rooms. It's quite a logical one. I listen at the doors, and traps and the rest of it because I'm the rogue, and then PJ being the
I'm not saying anything.
an event happened where PJ's character Rubble got extreme. Well, we all got rather disturbed and upset, and PJ then decided, or Rubble then decided to just take it out on the next door, which would have been fine if it had been the hobgoblins, goblins, etc. we've been fighting. Unfortunately, this particular room happened to be the one that controlled a gelatinous cube, which basically is a big blob of jelly, which consequently, you see that if you imagine Futurama ones where you sort of see while someone gets swallowed in the middle of a glob.
Yeah,
that's what happened to Pete to Rubble.
Right.
And we then had to get him out because he gone charging in there. He was so stressed out with what we'd seen that he didn't wait for one. He just went charging in. It was in his nature. And unfortunately, he just happened to have chosen one wrong room to do that in.
Okay. Oh, I'm completely lost. That's yeah. Well, we'll be back on the 31st of this month, hopefully with a special guest, talking about the professionals.
So for once, we're not going to be amateurish in our presentation.
Amateurish.
Yeah,
we've been amateurish since the beginning, mate.
That's what I said. We're not going to be this one. We're going to be more a bit more professional about the next one.
Professional. We just talk amateurish anyway. Just a scratch.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Well, anyway, take care, Wendy. Have a good one. Have a great week.
Yep.
Well, anyway, as we're about to bugger off, an amateur stream on the professionals always is. We're not scripted, Sadaku. We never will be.
Hold on a second. Sorry, I can't read the next line here.
Oh, God. But anyhow, right. So, Colin, can you hear music?
No. No, I can. Which means it's time I actually lifted up my headphones so I don't get deafened when it gets loud at the end.
Don't worry, the countdown stuff's going right there. Anyway, everyone, we'll see you on the 31st for the Battle Professionals, or we'll see you around on PJ Stream, or you can find Colin in Castles and Crusades. Anything to add, Colin?
No, don't think so. Good night, folks.
Well, anyway, it's good night from me.
And I've already said good night. Just to be difficult.
Take care, everybody. Have a great week and see you at the end of the month.
he asks me